Hello, dear students. Welcome to your English class. The topic of today is holidays and life choice, reading comprehension. Let's read about a very beautiful city of Europe. But before reading about it, let's answer some questions in order to understand if you know anything about. We are asking some question about London. What do you know about London? Look at the text and read the subheadings and think of questions about it. After reading the text, you will understand if you had known something about London or not, and if your information about it was correct or not. London. Are you planning your next trip? Then why not visit London? London is one of the most exciting cities in the world, full of history, heritage and culture. It's one of the livest and the most cosmopolitan cities on the planet. Sights and attractions. There are lots of things to see and do in London. Walk around the centre and see famous landmarks like Big Ben, Westminster Abbey. Visit the Tower of London where England's kings and queens live and see Britain's precious crown jewels. Go to the Buckingham Palace at 11:30 and see the famous changing of the guard ceremony. And don't miss London's art galleries and museums. Most are free to get into. Shopping. There are over 40,000 shops in London. Oxford Street is Europe's busiest high street with over 300 shops. Locals and tourists also visit London's many markets. A walk through Camden Lock Market in Camden Town on a Saturday is a must. Eating. What can we eat in London? With over 270 nationalities in London, you can try food from just about every country in the world. Make sure you tried the UK's most famous dish, fish and chips. Getting around. London has a quick underground train system, the Tube as the locals call it. There are also the famous red double-decker buses. The Tube is quicker, but you will see more of London from a bus. You can also take one of the London's famous black cabs. Cabbies can take you to wherever, as they know every single street in London. That's 25,000 streets in London. Accommodation. London has every type of accommodation you could ever imagine, from luxurious hotels to bed and breakfast. You aren't going to have problems finding somewhere to stay. Now, let's ask and answer the question about the text we have read about London. What are the most famous sites in London? Big Ben and Westminster Abbey are among the most famous sites in London. Where can you go shopping in London? You can go shopping to the Oxford Street. What kind of food can you try in London? You can try food from just about every country of the world. How can someone get around London? London has a quick underground train system. What about accommodation in London? London has every type of accommodation, from luxurious hotels to the bed and breakfast. Now, while reading the text, you might have come across to a number of new words. Let's explain them one by one. Heritage. Heritage is a property that is inherited. Cosmopolitan is a city in which people from different kinds of countries of the world live in. Sight, the faculty of power of seeing. Attraction, the action or power of evoking interest in someone. Precious, of a great value. Crown, a circular ornament, headdress worn by a monarch in sign of authority. Jewels, a precious item used as accessory. A ceremony, an activity organized for something. Tube, the underground, is a common name used in London by the locals, and accommodation is a room or a group of rooms where someone lives in. Now have a look on these photos. We have different kinds of attractions in a city. So, these are different kinds of activities that you might do in these places. So, where can you see towers, walls and canals? You can see towers, walls and cannon in a castle. So, A is a castle. Here, where can you see paintings and sculptures? You can see paintings and sculptures in an exhibition. Where can you see statues or workers' art? You can see statues or works of art in a museum. Where can you go shopping? You can go shopping to a shopping center. Where can you admire the ancient ruins and temples? You can admire ancient ruins and temple in an ancient site. Where can you admire plants and trees? You can admire beautiful plants and trees in a park. And where can you go to rides? You can go to the rides to the amusement park. As homework, you are going to write a short description about your favorite place to visit. That was the lesson for today. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.